Well, hello and welcome to the Shallow Proclamation. My name is Paul, and as always, I'm joined by
Thomas.
welcome to you all. We are about to dive into part one of the finale of this season 2, 14, 15, I have no idea, of Doctor Who. Ncuti Gatwa's season 2 finale. So we're about to get into the first episode of that. It's a two-parter called Wish World. We were just both saying to each other, like, I've not seen this. Have you not seen it, presumably?
I haven't, no.
Not watched it with Chris?
No.
Fine.
We managed to avoid spoilers this time as well.
So I'm not spoiled on it, which is good. And we're only a few days after it went out, so I've been very careful on my social medias to try and... I've been actually scrolling very slowly at certain points, just like if I see a bit of Doctor Who, I might just skip past that, just in case.
It'd be cool if social media had like a Doctor Who spoiler button.
There should be a filter for that. Like you'd have thought.
Because I know on Discord you can mark like images that you post as spoiler images or text and stuff, and people use that in our Discord quite a lot, which is very handy. But on other socials, you can't control what the algorithm puts in front of you, really.
No.
So maybe that would be a cool thing. We'll write to Zuckerberg and Musk.
Absolutely. Put our 2 pence in.
Yeah. Specifically Doctor Who spoilers, though. Spoilers for everything else. Absolutely.
No, it's a very specific filter. So we're about to get into this. I mean, we kind of enjoyed last week's story, didn't we? We've obviously had the reveal of Mrs. Flood as the Rani, returning character from the classic era, although not a character you're familiar with. And of course we...
Oh, cool. It's the Rani.
I mean, I think most of us, even classic era fans, were like, "Oh, cool, it's the Rani as well." So I don't feel you've really missed out on that. And obviously, we've had Susan teased, haven't we? Grandfather, find me.
Very interesting.
So yeah, I will say, I mean, the only spoiler I've had, it's not a spoiler at all. The only thing I've noticed is there do seem to be a lot of articles now. There seems to be since Saturday a lot of increased chatter about Gatwa leaving and who will replace him.
Right.
So I'm not thinking necessarily that something has happened in this episode, but it seems like we're very much at that kind of point now where it's seeming highly likely that he may be departing. So
okay,
all should be revealed though. So obviously we've got this episode. We've got what is this Saturday's coming finale, which I think my dad said was something like an hour and 10 minutes long. So it might be an extra long one, which is always quite nice, particularly that we've had only short seasons. So having a bit extra is always good. So we're going to dive into this. Let us know what you think of this story down in the comments below. Also, if you want to chat more about Doctor Who, you can join our Discord server. There's a link for that in the description. If you want the full-length reactions, we have a Patreon as well, and you can find the link for that in the description too. Otherwise, unless you've got anything you want to add, Thomas...
No, I was just going to say it says 44 mins there, but
no, the next week's.
Next one, not this one.
Sorry, the actual finale. My dad said is an hour and 10. Yes. This is a standard episode, as far as I know.
So he's very clued into the Doctor Who running times, even of future episodes. Very good. Yes.
Yes. I'm actually quite looking forward to this, even though it's all been a bit all over the shop.
Yes. Horse neighs. So the last episode ended with obviously that reveal, but just before that, the Doctor and Belinda going into the TARDIS and the TARDIS door like bursting,
exploding open. In. Yeah, that's true. That's the sound of May the 24th. This feels a bit Moffat, doesn't it? Like we're not picking up where we left off.
Go to the past, yes.
Yeah, we'll just be somewhere else.
Pumpkin spice latte and a ham and cheese toast. So I'm assuming that she has a TARDIS of her own, or I don't know.
As a time lord, you'd assume.
Yeah.
Get out, all of you children! Get out now!
Waddle away. Seventh son.
Turn them into ducks. This has like WandaVision type vibes.
Yeah, that's true.
It all seems a bit too perfect. Or
this little girl, didn't Belinda see a little girl in the street in Lagos?
You're right. Well remembered. Oh, and there he is, Comrade.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so they're trapped in some...
I mean, the
alternate
story is
reality.
called Wish World, isn't it? So
Very good.
maybe we're getting a hint there at...
I'm so
kind
sorry,
of thing we've
Paul.
got to
My
see.
mouse hovered over the skip intro button. I didn't click it, but it was like I've been so
thought about
conditioned by the buttons to click them.
Yeah. I would never skip the intro of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I know. Neither. I'm ashamed.
Sacrilege. If you do, you're not really a real fan.
Yeah,
And you should die in a cell at the age of 49.
very specific. What the heck? That's kind of a cool image, isn't it?
Da, 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 da.
Oh,
Welcome
wow.
to Jurassic Park.
Which is slightly, again, another Marvel reference. It's slightly reminiscent of the TVA, isn't it, from the Loki series? But no, this is good. This is quite interesting.
It's a good
How
start.
How long are they going to keep up the Wish World, do you reckon, before revealing what's really going
Is
on?
that
it's-
Susan
That's Susan Twist, isn't it?
Twist? So we've got Gallifreyan symbols there. Clock.
Oh, cool. This is a cool ship, actually, isn't it? So who is this child going to be?
He's so tiny.
Packer.
He sustains his entire world.
And he never cries.
All he does is chuckle.
Not Tobias Vaughan.
Amazing. Isn't he?
Packer.
He's absolutely terrifying.
All he does is chuckle. Is that a
Reference to the giggle and
giggle, the toy maker?
The doubts are the whole point. Doubt is such a beautiful thing. If you question hard enough, then doubt can crack open the world. On cue!
It shook. The whole palace shook.
What is happening?
That's why I needed you trapped inside the wish. Because this isn't just exposition, Doctor. I need to tell you everything so that your doubt becomes all-consuming. If ordinary doubt cracks open the world, then a Time Lord's doubt rips open the structure of reality itself.
Seeing what?
Deep within the underverse, he is hidden, the one who is lost.
Who's it going to be, Paul?
huh.
The one
Yeah, I
who
don't
is
know.
lost. Because the one who waits was Sutek, wasn't it? The one who is lost.
Omega.
Omega. The first
Ha.
No way.
creator of the time. The greatest.
Hey, at least you've seen it, right? Like,
Yeah. You know, it's funny, when I found out that Mrs. Flood was a Time Lord lady, when I just saw that thumbnail, the first thought that came into my head was, oh, maybe she's Omega.
Doctor! Poppy is real! Do you know what that means?
are we going to get a trailer? We're going to get a trailer at the end,
question.
or
Doesn't look like it.
remember to like and subscribe to the Doctor Who YouTube channel.
There we go.
Well,
We didn't say much during that, did we?
well, no, I think we we quietened down partway through, didn't we?
Yes. There was quite a lot of key dialogue, wasn't there? So
Yeah. I think I quite enjoyed that.
yeah, good concept.
Yeah. I mean, as with all of these finales, what happens next week is where it is what brings the whole thing in, isn't it? You know, so last
Yeah.
season, for example, this episode, season 7 of 8, we thought was really good, wasn't it, with the reveal of Sutek and all that stuff, and then
Yeah.
it slightly took a nosedive at the end. So I'm kind of hoping we don't go that way.
Yeah. hard reset.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's clearly going to have to be some kind of reset, isn't there? But I mean, in a sense, it's not quite as bad because this isn't a real.
Yes.
This isn't reality, is it? I mean, next week is called the Reality War, so
Yeah. And Omega, wow.
yeah, to have Omega back is fascinating.
It's a
Again,
crack open
this
the universe to reveal.
this ties in though with exactly the conversation we had after last week about like it seems such a bizarre thing. Again, this is so continuity heavy. These
That's
these
going
two
even
seasons,
further back into the classic era. Yeah.
even yeah, absolutely. Like and obviously, so I mean, if you're a casual viewer
Yeah.
and you've just watched this, I think you'll be like, what the hell is going on? Who's the Rani?
Yeah.
Who's this woman on the telly? There's like Susan, who's not mentioned by name in this, but there she is. And then, yeah, Omega, the Seal of Rassilon. You know, I mean, for me, I like it all. I'm happy with it. You know, as a fan, I don't mind continuity. I like it, and I prefer it when the stories actually do some justice to the continuity and stick with it rather than just throw it all out the window and like that. So, but I'm intrigued to see where it's going to land.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the whole. I mean, it's interesting that WandaVision, because WandaVision was such a great series, and that kind of lodged itself in my mind. So, but you know, it's a concept that can be done again and can be done well. So this whole idea of, and it's been done in lots of other things, hasn't it? This idea of being caught in a reality that feels a little bit too pristine, and there's clearly something bubbling beneath the surface, and doubt is the thing that is, you know, considered anathema. But then they break free by doubting, which is interesting, isn't it? But yeah, and it was Comrade's. It was the world that Comrade had wished into existence. That was kind of interesting, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
like his dream world is kind of 1950s, minorities, kind of marginalized. Yeah, but yeah, no, interesting. I kind of still mulling it over really, but and it was quite exposition heavy, wasn't it? I mean, they even made a joke about it. Where
Yeah.
the Brani was like, "This isn't just exposition. I'm helping you remember," but it felt like there was almost a third of the episode that had to just be, "We've got to tell you everything that's going on." But I do quite like the concept of when the Doctor doubts in this dream realm, it actually makes a crack in reality itself. That's quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I think I probably still need time to really mull it over and to think what I make of it. I mean, the problem is whenever you've watched it just like that, there's inevitably going to be things you're going to have missed, you know,
Yeah,
and on reflection, you'll probably go through it and you'll watch it again and there'll be things that you missed that you think, oh, there was something there which is a useful bit of information that I didn't pick up on, or themes and ideas, or sometimes you notice that like things don't quite hang together as nicely, you know, with a bit of thought once you actually reflect on it. But I mean, my initial thought coming off the back of it was I quite enjoyed it, and I'm interested to see where it lands. I've got no idea how it's going to pull these things together. What's going to happen to the Rani and Mrs. Flood? You've obviously got the two characters there. Like, how is that going to resolve? How does Susan fit into this?
what's Omega going to look like? Is
what's
he going to
Omega
have
gonna look
no
like?
face still, or yeah?
Yeah. And his was a world that he had constructed, wasn't it?
Yes, so that's interesting because that was three Doctors, wasn't it?
The Three Doctors, yeah.
The story he was in.
So I really like the design of the Rani's place as well. Sort of they call it the Bone Palace, I think they called it. I'm interested to see what that's about because again, we haven't really got an idea as to why is it like that. You know, there's these sort of almost dinosaur-esque Leviathan things parading around that are just made of bone, and I don't know if I've missed why they're made of bone or the whole thing is this bone thing. Maybe it's something I don't know. time. I don't know.
You got a bone to pick with them, Paul.
So yeah, I mean, it looks good. I'd be interested to see, like, has the Rani got like a, does she have her own TARDIS, all this kind of stuff. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we haven't really had. I mean, just thinking as well, other things that we've got to bring Susan in, things that haven't been picked up necessarily, and again, I doubt it will happen in this story because that would be too much, but we saw the master was taken away in a gold tooth, wasn't he? Like, we saw a woman's hand pick that up at the end of the giggle.
Yeah.
We don't know where that's really going. Is that going to get a reference here? Is that for something for later on? Was that just a kind of, I'll put this in and then someone else can pick it up at a later date if they so desire, but, it's not actually an active storyline.
Yeah. Imagine if the next episode has the Master as well. That'd be probably the most different Time Lords in an episode.
And
Doctor
Vinda.
Who for a while. Yeah.
And the kitchen sink.
Vinda. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, and I didn't quite understand at the end there, and the Doctor said Poppy is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he said, you don't understand, Poppy, I have a daughter, Poppy is real.
Yes, because he remembered who he was as the Doctor, and then he says that, doesn't he? So, what does that mean?
Yeah, so is she real in the reality of the real world, or is she another real person in... Well, all those people in that world were real people, weren't they? But they're just living in a different world around them.
Yes.
Because the unit people are all real, we know Shirley and obviously Kate and Ibrahim and all that lot are all people from a real world. They're not just imagined, made up people.
Yeah, they're not like NPC. So this is interesting then, isn't it? So that is the actual Doctor who's stuck in this dream world. Presumably it's the actual Belinda as well. Is it the actual everyone? Like the entire population of planet Earth has now been whisked? Or is it just London?
Presumably it is everyone.
Because
in when they were back in previous episodes, in reality, the Earth itself had been destroyed there, right? So
right, yes.
Like, something has actually happened to the real Earth and the real people. This is not just a simulation somewhere that uses people from the world.
They've all been plonked into.
Yeah, they're all related. Yeah, it's all tied back to the real world somehow.
Yes, yeah, because it was interesting that Ruby, like when the flashbacks, she's talking to her family about things, and they're like, "Oh no, you're doubting." So that's kind of clearly a dream, a kind of wish version of her actual childhood. But then she has recollection of the events that happened in 79 Yards. She's like...
73.
Sorry, I can never remember that title.
The whole 79 yards.
Essentially, remember, I've lived through 2025 before. And
and they had the clips were, and those images were from that story, weren't they? Her in the window looking down.
Yeah. So they've kind of got their actual memories, but they've been augmented by Conrad, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I do. I mean, the good thing. I mean, a sign of at least positive things for a story like this is that I've got to the end of this and thought, like, I do want to see the next episode now.
Yeah.
I want to see where this goes. Which is, in a sense, is good because I mean, as we were getting near the end of the story, I was thinking to myself, I don't think we're actually going to get a lot here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we haven't really. I mean, we're not really that much further on now. Next week is when everything is going to happen, isn't it? I mean, we've had the reveal in the sense of she's looking for Omega, but Omega we've not seen Omega. I'd be interested to see how he's played. Will he be played as a sort of larger than life? Like Sutek was basically a dog for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or will we have an actual person? Omega's supposed to be, a man, isn't he? who with Rassilon and that they sort of started Time Lord Society and created the supernova to allow time travel and stuff. I wonder whether she was talking about the energy, this thing like a billion supernovas. I wonder whether are we pushing towards? Are we going to reboot Gallifrey in some way?
Gallifrey falls no more.
Gallifrey falls once more and then rises again. I mean, in a sense, I would like to see Gallifrey rebooted because I think the biggest misstep of the Chibnall era is destroying Gallifrey, given that it had taken 7 seasons and then the 50th anniversary for us to get Gallifrey, and then another
That
2
felt
or
like a shame.
another few seasons, for Capaldi's Doctor to actually get to Gallifrey for the first time. You're like, wow, I think that was at the end of season 9. And you're like, gosh, with 9 seasons, we're sort of almost a decade, if not a little bit more in now. And the show has taken all that time to get back to this place. Yeah. And then within 5 minutes, Chibnall just throws it out the window for some crappy-ass story that he's not thought through. Like, absolute, I mean, just what a prat. Like,
yeah, I
shouldn't have been let near it. Like, what a disaster. Like, what a waste of all that work that had been done. Seizing that story.
That until quite recently, just how much the show had been building to Gallifrey coming back, and then because I guess the Doctor is estranged from the Time Lords for much of the classic era, isn't he? Because he's sort of on the run. He's kind of a renegade Time Lord in their eyes. Difficult relationship with them. Yeah. They kind of join forces for the 3 Doctors, but then the whole modern era up to the 50th anniversary special was the Doctor was the last of the Time Lords and is kind of crushed by that fact and, longs to see his people again. And then
although we had them come back end of time, didn't we, as well?
Of course, yes.
But we get a sense of this society that is now so corrupt and destroyed by war that it has gone a different way.
It's gone a different way. So then they finally bring it back in the 50th anniversary special, and it's like, hey, Gallifrey's back. But then he has to find it, so that takes a while.
Yeah, and we get a few seasons of 2 whole seasons, I think. So 2 more years, effectively, of Capaldi before we even get there.
Yeah. And then the Chibnall era came along and said, actually, the Time Lords were awful all along because they were born out of the Doctor who was experimented on by a lady.
And they're all dead again.
And the Doctor is a timeless child. And it isn't actually a Time Lord, but something even older and that we don't know anything else about. What was the person who looks after him? Tecteun.
Yes. And for it to be like kind of... I mean, I know that Russell T Davies destroyed Gallifrey off screen.
Yeah.
But to do it again then, after all that time, and just be like, oh yeah, the Master's just everyone's dead. Gallifrey's ruined. You're like, oh, flipping heck, not a... I honestly thought when the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, comes out of the TARDIS in that episode where she finds Gallifrey in ruins, I thought she was going back in time, like into the war. Because the Master had said in that story, like earlier on, like I went to Gallifrey and it was in ruins. He didn't tell her at that point that he'd done it, did he? He's just saying it's gone. And I thought that was suggesting that Sacha Dhawan's Master was an earlier Master who didn't know Gallifrey had been destroyed, and so when she went back, she was somehow stepping back into the war.
Interesting.
Because I thought, that would it gives you a way back into it, but then for it to just be like, oh no, it's just destroyed again. You're like, really again? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, that's not anything to do with this story. I mean, I can be angry about this when we get there.
But it is interesting, well, because given how many Time Lords it's sort of bringing up this kind of season, are they going to do some... I mean, you almost have to acknowledge the timeless child thread in some way. I mean, even if you refute it or whatever, it's like there's presumably going to be a moment where the show does something with that. And I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it feels a bit sort of, if they do a Gallifrey sort of reboot, get it back again, I mean, I could understand it. I mean, it feels like, oh, we've already done this.
Yeah.
But I can understand as well that if I was in Rusty Davis' position, I'd be like, well, we've got to put it back because Chibbers broke it, so we need to, like, we've got to put this right, put this narrative disaster. Yeah, we've got to sort out this narrative disaster and restore it, even though it feels like we're just redoing the same story again. Well, we are, but we have to because Chris Chibnall stuffed it up for everyone.
You could do a 70th or 75th anniversary special where it's all the Doctors. No, sir, all 18. And it's exactly the same plot, but with whoever's the current Doctor at that point. And then you have all the past Doctors. Like, didn't we do this before? Yeah, I'm certain we did this before. We are going to maneuver our TARDISes around Gallifrey at the same time, and it will bring it back.
Oh dear. Yeah. So
and David Tennant will be the great curator.
Who knows? Perhaps you were me. No, I reckon it must be heading in that direction though, surely, because we've got like this supernova, power of a supernova, we've got Omega.
Yeah.
You know, and there's this whole thing about the Time Lords. He's the last of the Time Lords, but actually a Time Lady survived, and you know, it's leaning into that quite heavily, isn't it? It's not just like those things are things we know happened in the past. They're actually mentioning them in the story. Like,
yeah.
So I'd be very surprised if we don't get more of that.
I reckon they'll do it with the baby, the wish baby. I reckon the Doctor or someone will wish Gallifrey into existence again.
That's the sequel. Space babies. Wish babies. See how many times he says the word wish babies during the next story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that seems like an easy reset, doesn't it, for Gallifrey? I wish the Time Lords were still alive.
Yeah, it would feel a little bit easy though, wouldn't it? It's like we found this baby that allows you to wish an entire planet into being.
I mean, that is literally, surely, because he's a god, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the gods. That is literally, surely this is if that is the case, that is the epitome of Deus Ex Machina. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Like the god out of the machine, like, surely.
With as Russell T Davies was watching what Chibnall did with the show, and he was thinking about returning, he was like, "Oh no, Gallifrey's gone again." Wait, what was that scrap of paper of a Doctor Who story I've written down a while back? Oh no, I'm going to have to bring out the Wish Baby, aren't I?
Can you imagine?
I never thought I'd have to use the Wish Baby. I'm going to have to use the Wish Baby, aren't I?
I could just imagine Rusty Davis sitting there through the Whiskey era, just going like, with his pen and paper, like, things I need to put right. Just like every episode. Oh no, he's not done that, has he? Oh dear.
Well,
write that down.
So Paul, he says he really liked what Chibnall did with his show, didn't he? Which you kind of got to, I guess.
Well, no one's going to stand up and say, like, while someone's still in the job or you're just about to take over, yeah, the person before me wrote a right hash of this.
Yeah. And I know RTD's own writing has changed and arguably is not what it was. Or maybe he's trying something different, but I think most people would agree that the stories he's written these 2 seasons haven't been as rich as what he was doing when he was the showrunner for the first time. But I still like to think, given even all that he would still see problems with what Chibbers did with the show.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think it is evidenced in the fact that it really hasn't brought it up much since. It's gone back to the Doctor calling himself the last of the Time Lords, and I think with the Timeless Child has been mentioned.
Well, we had the Fugitive Doctor, didn't we?
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
Well, I wonder whether there's almost a sense of like, with Omega as well being like the one who starts Time Lord Society. Now, Chibnall's slightly chucked that out the window with his Timeless Child thing. And I wonder whether RTD is trying to sort of somehow re-establish the original continuity a bit without completely just retconning the Timeless Child thing. So there's a way you can make this work. I mean, my way of making it work was simply to be like, yeah, the Master lied. Like, it's not true.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have just been like, it's not true. And I would have been, and you could keep the fugitive Doctor, still say, yeah, there was something before Hartnell. You can still do all that, and then the Time Lords wiped the memory and gave him a new set of regenerations and sent him on his merry way. But I think, like, some people will care about it, some people don't care. For me, like, just to Chibnall, by doing what he did, completely ripped out the established continuity that we had, and I'm like, well, that's, to me, I'm like, who do you think you are? Like,
yeah, and to my, I might have been okay with it if it was like an astonishingly well written episode with great performances, and like you go back to it and you're like, whoa, remember that episode that cracked open the Doctor Who canon and it turned out the Time Lords weren't what we thought they were. And if it was like really built up to it and it was satisfyingly done, I might have forgiven it. But has anyone gone back and rewatched that episode fondly, returning to it like
probably
an
that
old
person
friend?
Probably that person on our comments who said, as far as they're concerned, Doctor Who began and ended with Jodie Whittaker. So probably that person.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of, like, there must be other things where you'd be like, yeah, if you did that, it completely derails completely undoes what the show is in some ways. But there must be other examples. Of just things you could do to a show. It's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should do it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, it's by the by. I mean, we'll find out next week, won't we, when we see where this all sort of lands. Do we know what the lie of the land is after this? Like, because there's a lot of talk of the show not coming back until maybe 2027. We don't know whether Gatwa's even going to be here.
Yeah.
Let's hope we don't have a Whittaker return like David Tennant fondly
Gatwa regenerates into Jodie Whittaker.
Oh gosh. I don't think we've got like a Christmas special like confirmed or anything like that, even for Christmas. So
yeah, it's interesting.
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, again, you won't really know about this, and I mentioned it in one of the other episodes that I said the show had been going now in the modern era for sort of 20 years. Effectively, we were in the 80s if you compared it to sort of the original era, and that's when the show starts to decline and starts to not be watched as much by people, gets put up against other TV shows that it can't really compete with on other channels. And one of the things people often say about the 1980s Doctor Who is basically, with continuity, it disappeared up its own arse. That's what they say. It became so continuity heavy that constantly there's returning this, returning that. And it's like, well, if you don't know anything about that...
it returned up its...
It's like,
yeah.
You know... And I'm wondering, like, these two seasons, it feels a bit like that. You know, there's supposed to be this kind of Disney-esque reboot. I know it's not a reboot, like a hard reboot.
Yeah, and
but
that
very much
and
fresh.
Yes, and continuity in the 80s, well, they only had like a couple of decades of canon to play with. Admittedly, then it was harder to rewatch things, so
yes,
referencing Hartnell stuff might have still felt alien to people watching in the 80s. But the fact that, this Gatwa era isn't only referencing stuff from the modern era back to sort of 2005, but all like right back in the classic era as well. So we're talking like, 60 years of material, and not many people of the younger generation will know about any of that stuff. So it is an interesting choice, isn't it? If it's trying, as you say, if it's trying to reboot and if it's trying to reach a younger audience.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with it in the sense of, like, you know, I like that the show does that. I like that it links in. But I just wonder what the thinking is in the sort of production team, because, you know, in a sense, it could make people go, oh, this is something from something I'm not aware of, maybe I should go back and watch it. Or it could completely go the other way, where people kind of go, I just got no idea what's going on. I think I get the sense I'm supposed to know who these people are, that this is supposed to be significant to me, but it's not. So it just feels jumbled. like we're just throwing things at the wall. You know,
Yeah.
wet paper towels. That one is stuck, so that will do. But it's I'm fascinated to see what other people think about it.
Yeah. No, so do let us know in the comments, guys, and intrigued to see where it goes in the next one. It might draw all these things together in a neat bow.
I will say that despite the fact that, I mean, the Return of the Rani is not hugely exciting to me. I mean, it's fine. It's a little nod to the past. I'm liking her portrayal as at least in the Rani character. Mrs. Flood is very different. It's going to be interesting where that goes. But so I'm enjoying her as the Rani, this lady. I can't actually remember what her name is. But I'm enjoying that, and that the Rani was always portrayed as a character in the classic era who she's a scientist and she is more intelligent than the Doctor.
Right. Yeah.
So I think she should be always played as a sort of worthy sort of adversary, and almost and I think also like there's that sense perhaps of not necessarily being particularly adversarial. There's not a hostility in the same way as the sort of the Doctor and the Master, but more there's a sort of mutual respect there.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting line when she was like, I didn't bring death, I brought life. It's like, well, you did turn those kids into ducks, but
you can imagine that's such a scene, isn't it? You can imagine that going, I didn't bring death, I brought life. There's someone about, well, you did turn those kids into ducks. Be quiet.
shush.
And that woman into petals. Yeah, but apart from the ducks and the petals,
what have the Romans ever?
What have the Romans ever done?
Yeah, ducks are still living, aren't they?
Yeah. The duck lies shredded in a pancake, drowning in the hoisin of your lies.
Apparently there's a restaurant that does a duck pizza that has hoisin instead of tomato sauce.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I've seen that somewhere. Like, I've come across that.
To me, that would be so sickly.
Oh, I would love it. I love hoisin duck. Yeah. Oh, I love hoisin sauce. Oh.
Yeah. Well, let us know in the comments
what do you think of duck and hoisin pizza?
Hoisin.
Is it a step too far?
You
don't care what you think about Doctor Who. We only want to know about your duck preferences.
Do join our Discord as well. We're so close to having 100 people in there, I think. We're getting there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big moment.
Yeah, we can talk more about ducks in there if you need to.
Yeah, we have a hoisin channel. And if you want the full commentary track for this episode, you can check it out on Patreon. Although I have to say, in this one, we didn't say a huge amount towards the second half because there was a lot of dialogue that we wanted to listen to. So
it's a good sign. It's a good sign, though.
That's true. Yeah, Paul, thank you very much, and thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.